Hi. So today, regarding the Canada PR process, I am getting a lot of messages and in Facebook and WhatsApp regarding what is the cost involved for this entire process. That is to get the PR, because many of them are worried about the cost, like whether it will take like 10-15 lakhs to migrate. So I will explain about the total cost, what are the different steps, and in which step you will have to spend that amount of money. So as I said, the first process is to do your educational credential assessment. So there are different agencies which is doing this process. So the main agencies which does this ECA are WES, World Educational Services, and Comparative Educational Services, and ICAS. So for WES, if you want to get your report or assessment for more than 1 degrees, it is the same cost. So it will come around like 13,000 Indian rupees. That is the first step or the first expense you will have to incur during this process. For CES, sorry, for CES there will be like, if you have multiple degrees, more than 1 degrees, you have to spend for each of the degrees to get it assessed. So I did YOS, so I spent around 13,000 for that process. So that is the first step for the ECA, that is for the agencies. And the second one is the expense which you have to, the cost which will be incurred to get the transcript from the universities. So I got a double degree, and both are from MG University Kerala. So they were charging around 2000 rupees per degree for per set of transcripts for each of the degrees. So it came around 4000 rupees plus other charges like photostat and other stuff. It came around 5000 rupees. So it is, the first step is 13,000 plus 5,000 is for your educational assessment. The second expense which you will incur is for writing the IELTS. For writing the IELTS, it is variable, because you don't know, or we don't know how many times you will have to write the IELTS. The examination fee each time when you write the IELTS is around 13,650. So that is the current charges, I believe, somewhere 13 plus. When I was writing, it was 12,650. I believe it is 13,650 now. But if you go for an IELTS coaching, to prepare for that coaching, then the expense will again increase. So it will be like some people are charging from 15,000 to 25,000. If you go to British Council for their charges, it is somewhere around 20-25,000. So that cost. So I did not prepare, so I just saved that money. So but I had to write twice this IELTS. So I spent around 26 or 27,000 for IELTS alone. So 13,000 plus 5,000 is 18,000 plus another 26,000. So it came somewhere around 46,000 or 44,000. So these are the first steps. All the other charges which you have to spend is after you get ITA. So all the other charges which you have to pay to the government of Canada, it is after the ITA. If you are appointing an agency, you can ask for installments. So I appointed one agency called Dream Visas Pune. So they gave me a very good offer, because I approached, or I took their service after I completing the WES certification. So I did not seek their service for getting the educational credential assessment validation. For IELTS also, I did not ask for their service. So after I got the IELTS and the WES report, then I approached the agency, and then you can negotiate, like, okay, you have done part of this process, so you can negotiate for better rates. So I got a very good rate of around 48,000 including GST. And that too, they gave me options to give this 48,000 in installments. So I got 3 installments. So I paid 17,700 in the first installment, then another 12,000 or 13,000 in the second installment. That is basically they split like 15,000, 10,000, and 15,000. But they charge 18% or 8% GST, so it comes around 17,000 as the first installment. Second, it is somewhere around 12,200 or something, and the third one is again around 17,700. So these are the before the ITA. So if you are appointing this consultancy, then before the ITA you have to pay the first installment, that is 17,700. So I appointed. So 44 plus 17, your 16,000, you can say around 60,000. So that is the first cost. First cost. Post ITA, once you get the ITA, then you have to go for this medicals, you have to get the documentations, you have to get the gift deeds, you have to get the same person affidavit is if required. So all the documentations are, so the major things which we have to spend is for the medicals. So medicals, there are some authorized hospitals which do your medicals, so they charge somewhere around 4,000 to 5,000 rupees. So I went to Elbit in Bangalore, so they charged somewhere 4,200. So that is the that was their charges, so that we have to spend. The second one is the police clearance certificate. That is not very costly, you can get it for 500 rupees. So 4,500, so 60 plus 65,000. So then another thing is you have to get the gift deeds notarized, and if you have to do any other notarization for any of your documents, then you have to spend somewhere for each notarization. It will might require like 100 rupees to 500 rupees. For the gift deed I spend around 500 rupees, and for the same person affidavit, which is basically like if you have multiple documents in different names, because most of the Indians will have different names. In passport you will have one name, and in some educational certificate it will be like the abbreviation of the initials might be changing. So for that you can submit. It is not necessary, but it is better to submit that okay, you are the same person, you are the person mentioned in all these certificates or the documents are the same. So to get it notarized, you prepare a list of documents where there is a discrepancy in the name, and get it notarized from any notary advocates, saying like all these documents carrying all these names are for of the same person under this passport number, or there is a format. So you can prepare that notarization. So somewhere like maybe depends on the number of notarized documents which we are doing. It might range from 100 to 500 rupees. So I spend around 600 700 rupees on this on this notarization. And there are a lot of documents which you have to provide as color scan copies, and you know the color scan copies, the number of documents which it will range from 100 to 200 pages or 300 pages. So each scan copy you have to spend around 10 rupees, 15 rupees. So it is like photostat and other miscellaneous, you can keep it like 5,000 rupees extra. So it will be like including everything, all this notarization and all those things, you can make it as 5,000. So it is so it comes now around 70,000 rupees. Once you submit the documents, there are three charges. One is the Canadian government fee for processing the application, which is 550 CAD. So you can do the math, 550 into 55, that you have to pay while you submit the documents and submit the profile to the, that is post ITA, that is after you get the invitation. Only if you get the invitation you have to spend this amount, that is 550. And there is a biometric fee of 85 CAD. So 85 into 55, somewhere 4,000 or 4,500. That also you have to do it. You have to pay it while you submit the application. So 550 plus 85, so somewhere $535 you have to pay while you submit the application. That is only if you get the invitation. If you get the invitation means then all the documents and all the details which you are providing is correct, and your criminality and security and the background check, everything is correct, means you are definitely going to get the PR. So that is where you have to spend this. And there is another one option. There is a fee called right to permanent resident fee. That is it comes as RPF. It is majorly said as RPF. That is a request for permanent resident fee. That is the fee for issuing that permanent resident card. That is $490. You can either pay it upfront, that is while you submit the application itself you can pay this amount $490, or otherwise you can pay this amount once you get a request from the Canadian Embassy. So in your account the government will say like okay, you have to pay because we have processed, or we are in the process of doing this application, so you have to pay this $490. And this $490 is absolutely completely refundable if you are not getting the PR. But the 550 and 85, if you have if they are processing your application, then you will not get a refund. But this 490, if you are not getting the RPI, the permanent residency, they will refund it completely. So this is the, so my consultancy, what they were doing is, after the ITA, once I get the ITA, they ask for the second payment. So that is the second second installment, which is around 12,000. So I had to so I paid it around the ITA, and after I got the PPR, I paid this 17,000 the rest. So totally, when I calculated the entire expense, that is almost 13,000 for the ECA, some 20,000, approximately it comes around 1 to 1.5 lakhs as the fees. That is the total expense which you are doing. So it is like 12,000 for ECA, 26,000 I paid the IELTS twice, so that is 40,000, approximately 40,000. Then another 4,000 for the medicals, so it is 44,000, 44,000 plus the PCC and other miscellaneous, that is 5,000, so 50,000. Then I paid this paid this consultation fee around 48,000. Then this all this cost all this cost like 1,400 or 1,409 DCAD, that comes around like 55 or 70,000. So overall expense, when I calculated, it is somewhere near 1.5 to 1.6 lakhs, or you can consider it as 1.75 lakhs to, if you are you can, like, if you have to write more than twice or more than thrice a file, so you can almost approximate like 1.75, so that you will not be short of funds, so you can calculate it upfront. Then the rest of the funds required, it is not the required funds. You have to show proof of funds. That is, if you are going to live in Canada for a while as a permanent resident, then you have to show the Canadian government that initially, while you are not in job, while you are not you looking for a job, you have enough funds to support yourself. So their charges when I was submitting the application was 12,699 CAD. So it comes around 6.5 or 6.7 lakhs. So now they have increased it slightly. It is now somewhere 13,000 or 13,500 CAD. There is a slight increase, but this is for single applicant. If you have 2 or 3 dependents, then it changes. That is, even if you are going with your dependents, or if you are not if you are not taking your dependent also, you have to still show that you have sufficient funds to support them, because the Canadian government knows that, okay, if you are migrating, then you will definitely try to migrate your spouse and your kids, so you will still have to show that. So it comes, so always it is safer to keep like 50,000 or 60,000 extra, so that even if there is a fluctuation in the FX rates, you can still show that, okay, you have sufficient funds, because the proof of funds is completely like, while you are submitting, you had enough funds, like it was 55 rupees or 50 rupees. So for easier for the calculation, it is 50 rupees, so 12,000 into 50, somewhere like 6 lakhs. So you kept it as 6 lakh or 6.25, but due to fluctuation in FX rate, it crossed 60. Then the case officer can ask you like to show additional funds, but only few of the case officers ask you for that document, like additional proof of funds. Some case officers just will refuse or reject your application, saying that, okay, there is no sufficient funds. So always make sure that, okay, you have some more additional funds, because it completely depends on the case officer whether to accept your application or reject your application, because as per the rules, if they reject also, it is fine, because there is nothing illegal, because you don't have that sufficient funds at the point when they were checking. So always make sure that, okay, you have sufficient funds. So that is one thing. And regarding the proof of funds, you can show it as FD, or you can show it in your savings account. Also, you can utilize your available balance in your PF account. So many people ask questions like, okay, whether I can show the balance in the PF account. So PF account, you can see like, okay, there are 3 different areas, the EPF, PF, and some other pension, EPS or something. So while you download, you can see that one of the sections, the last section, will not be available as balance in your account. It will not be shown on the top. So online passbook. So you can ignore that amount, and you can take all the amount available in the top, like which is mentioned as the balance in your account. So that balance will be considered. You can submit the online statement. Also, to add or substantiate that okay, you have that balance, you can go to the regional passport office and get a letter. So most of the people are getting the letter, but I personally, I did not submit the letter. I utilized around 1 lakh. I showed around 1 lakh in my PF account as proof of funds, but I did not submit the letter from the PF, but still I got my PPF. But it is always safe, because I was always worried after the submission, like okay, whether they will consider it or whether they will not consider it. But somehow my case of visa, they accepted it. They did not ask for any other additional documents, so I got my PR as well. But it is always safe to get a letter from the regional PF office saying like okay, in your account, in your UAN number, you have this much of funds available. So it is always better. So this is regarding the total expense for a single applicant for PR. It comes to around 1.5. In my case, when I was doing, I spent around 1.5 as the expenditure. That expense I had to incur. I spent all that 1.5 lakhs I had to spend. The rest I showed around 7.5 lakhs in my account. That is not touched it. I have not spent it, but it is still in my account. So I can show that account, that proof of funds while I land in Canada. Like okay, I have this funds. So if I want, I can withdraw that amount once I am in reach Canada for my personal expenditure. So these are the expenses part. So I will make a video in Malayalam and in Tamil also for the people who wants to know about these details. So thank you. So keep this in mind, like you have to, for a single applicant it will be somewhere around total 10 lakhs. So that is 7.5 and 9 lakhs. 7.5 and 1.5, 9 lakhs in your account. You should be ready to show at least that much of amount to get your PR. So all the best guys. Thank you.